So today is kind of a big day for me. It's my very last day of college education, for now at least. I'm going to be graduating with my bachelor's degree. Today's the last day of the semester, so I'm pretty excited about it, right? I'm going to be done with school. It's been a long, long time. These 4 years have felt incredibly long, and obviously anyone going through college right now probably knows that as well. So today's kind of be related, but more of a financial topic on how a college degree really helps you. For those who are maybe debating going to college, or if you've got a little bit of college and you quit, I really want to try to show really the importance of that degree right now. And there's definitely a lot of good sources out there that can show you that, but I'm going to relate it to the market and see how that goes as well. So naturally, and you can look anywhere, median income is absolutely impacted by college degree status. There's a lot of jobs that are gated off really by minimum requirements that make you have to have degrees. Now, it's not saying you have to have a degree to get a nice paying job. It's not at all the case, right? We talk about contracting work like plumbers, electricians. You can definitely get a lot of money that way through trades, but college degrees are the most consistently secure spots and ways to just increase your income over someone who doesn't have a degree. It's just that's how it works. So average median income from workers age 22 to 27. You can see on your right here a little chart here. Bachelor's degree right around $44,000 a year, and people with just high school graduating or really a GED as well, $30,000 a year. It's a major difference. And one thing, obviously, that needs to be noteworthy. Well, we talk about times of recessions like we're in right now. Right here on the bottom of your screen, you see the difference overall in terms of unemployment in times of recession. Well, that's right. The people who tend to get unemployed more often in these recession times are going to be those with no degree, those less skilled workers. That's just how it works. But those holding the higher up positions in companies that have degrees, they aren't the ones that get laid off. It's going to be the worker bees on they're on the front line of the factory. Those are the ones that get laid off. During recession times, typically companies aren't going to lay off their executives or really management staff. That's just not how they do it, unfortunately. So the ones really facing a lot more unemployment are going to be those without college degrees. Now, there's also not a guarantee with a degree that you're going to get a job right away. It helps a lot in looking for a degree. We talk about the importance of a resume. A degree helps a lot, and there's a lot of jobs that you can just not get if you don't have a degree. So the degree is super important, and that's really why I've been striving to go for it. And as wage increases, we really talk about just your whole life can change that way. And that's why I definitely like the idea of having a degree. So we go over annualized income changes. That's fantastic, right? The opportunity to make more obviously changes. Now, if you relate that just to life in general, what does more money do for you? Well, obviously, I'm not a spender. I'm not at all. I'm a huge saver of money. I save money at every corner. I'm cheap with everything I do. So that helps me in the long run for a lot of reasons. I think one of the biggest traps that a lot of young people get into, and I hate to say it, it's a trap, some people are required and it's necessary, is going to be renting for their housing, right? We talk about apartments or just renting any sort of area. Renting out is one of the biggest traps you can really fall into because it's money gone for really into nothing. It's not an investment like a property is. It's money that you're just giving just for a service, and it's a continual one, right? The service being housing. And at the end of the time when your lease is up, you don't get anything. You don't get anything from that. All that money you put isn't towards anything. But when you talk about investing in property or a house, you own that at the end of that. Once you pay off your mortgage, you own that property, and what you do with it is yours. You own the value of that. So it adds to your overall equity as opposed to renting, which just takes from it. And And people rent because they can't afford a house. They can't afford down payment or the mortgage. It's just not possible for a lot of people. But with a higher paying job, you can. And the sooner you get that, the sooner you can get a house as opposed to renting. And there's some people that prefer renting because of the thing about utilities, cost of getting stuff fixed in your house, right? I get it. But overall, just for your well-being, you're way better off in terms of that by actually paying for a house as far as your equity is concerned. Now, relating it to the stock market, which obviously is important here, right? I just want to bring up a couple main points. Let's just take a look at the Dow Jones, right? Let's look at the lifetime of the Dow Jones. Here are the max that it'll show me. So the Dow Jones at one point in 1980 was at 869 points, which is obviously hilarious, but just because, a couple numbers in there. But right now it's sitting at $25,600. Holy cow. $25,600. That's quite a ways off in 20 or 35 years. Oh gosh, it's 40 years at this point. It's been so long. 40 years. We talk about a 40-year change of 2,800% growth of your assets, right? And why do I bring that up? Well, I bring that up because if you can put more money in the market earlier, in the long run, you're getting a lot more of a return. So I'm going to go ahead and look at a compound interest calculator here for you to show an annualized return on the market, how much you put in a year, and how much that'll equal in the long run, and see what the difference is. Because if you talk about the difference between $30,000 a year and $44,000 a year, how much more free money do you have in a given paycheck that you can contribute towards your accounts? That's what we're going to really talk about. So first, I found this really neat website that'll show the entire history of the stock market and the annualized return. So from 1871 to 2019, which they're giving me here, you see there's an annualized return of 10.8% per year, which is nice. Annualized return of 9%. So we're going to base it off that 9% number right there. That's what we'll do. So let's look at a compounding interest calculator. We'll look at my portfolio obviously in a second. But of a compounding interest calculator, we're going to look at a $10,000 initial deposit, right? You start your account at $10,000. Now let's say you don't have a high paying job. You don't have the degree to get a higher paying job right away. So what can you contribute per month? Let's say the best you can do, which obviously it's not right saying the best you can do, right? That's not really fair, but let's say you only have $25 a week in income that's free. Let's say that. So you're contributing $25 a week, or overall $100 a month. Okay, $100 a month, and we're just going to give this, just to be fair. Naturally, we're talking pretty much with young investors here, but let's talk to 25. Let's assume everyone's average age 25. So what are you going to have by age 50? And estimated interest earned is going to be an 8%, right? Or 9%. 9% annualized gain. And we're talking about an annual frequency in terms of that. So let's calculate that. So in 25 years, your $10,000 turns into $187,000. You see here on the bottom here your contribution, and up top after your annualized interest there, or your stock market gain, where that ends up at. So $187,000 from that $10,000 in 25 years. But let's say you went ahead and you got that degree by age 25, right? You're at a point where you have, how about $100 a week you can put in? That's right now where I'm at with my M1 portfolio. I'm putting in $100 a week on this. So you're putting in $400 a month. That same 25-year limit off of a 9% interest there. The difference is astounding, and I think you can notice that, right? So in 25 years, you will now have $492,795. And again, just a comparison, that's off your 100 instead. So you have 492,000 whenever you're doing your 400 a month versus $187 when you're doing the 100 a month, right? So the difference is definitely pretty astounding, and I think you can see that. I mean, that's massive change. Now, let's say, I mean, you're a wild person, right? And you somehow, I don't know how you're doing it. You're putting $1,000 a month in there. I don't know how you're going to do it, but if you did it, that's pretty wild. And that's right, $1,000 a month. You are, in fact, a millionaire by age 50. And I hope you're happy about that. A millionaire by age 50, $1,100,000. So really the importance of this is just to show what the difference it makes in terms of your contribution rate. And I think that $100 to $400 comparison is a lot better. When you're putting in $100 a week versus $25 a week, the difference you're going to have when you're later on in life is absolutely massive. And I think you'll really enjoy that later on. And I think that's why a college degree can be super important. You want that expendable income not to spend, but you want it to invest and make a better future for yourself. In this scenario, obviously, with $1 million, you're going to be, living life to the fullest, retiring at age 50, right? But in my scenario right here, we'll see how this turns out. Obviously, I'm doing 100 a week right now, and I'm planning on upping that because I just recently received a raise as well. So just full transparency, I'm making $57,000 US per year right now. It's a pretty big raise that I got, so I went from $48,000 to now $57,000. So my contribution likely is going to get upped. I was doing 100 before this, and I'm probably going to up it to 125 now. Really just for the main point of you see this value over time. I mean, that's with contributions, that's a chart that just keeps going up and up and up. Not only just off market gain, but the dividends I get on this thing is beautiful. And that's why I think it's really important to have a college degree. Some people may disagree with me. I mean, there's people who make it very far without it. We're talking about, Mark Zuckerberg dropping out of Harvard. First off, the guy's a freaking genius. He was going to Harvard. But, I mean, Elon Musk, there's so many just geniuses out there. But I'm not saying you're not going to be, but it is very unlikely that you are going to be someone like that makes the next big thing, the next big website, the next big product, whatever it might be. So, overall, I hope you enjoyed this, and let me know if you have any feedback for me.